Welcome to Grant Rock Warehouse, and tonight I want to welcome Todd Evans and Eric Hansen here tonight. We are going to do our top 10 tracks from Toto. This is kind of a follow-up episode to our album ranking. Let's do it. Let's go. We're here.
Talking bands no one talks about. Grant's Rock Warehouse.
Welcome to Grant's Rock Warehouse, and this is kind of like a follow-up to a previous episode that we have done on the channel. The other episode, we ranked the albums of Toto. Tonight, we're going to pick our top 10 favorite tracks. And I've gathered two musical scholars here. We've got Eric Hansen and Todd Evans here today on the panel, and we're just going to keep it loose, talk about some Toto, talk about our favorite tracks, and go from there. So, gentlemen, how are you? Nice to see you.
Doing good, guys.
Thanks. All right. So, let's get started. I think we'll do it why don't we do this, Todd? Because we'll do it. Well, why don't we just do 3, and 4 like we do like on the live Contrarian show?
Oh, we can do that.
Let's just do that. That's fine. Keep it moving.
Bottom up. Yeah, bottom up. Okay. Don't start.
Oh gosh, I probably should rank mine. Because I don't think it really.
Well, you don't have to. I'm going to go bottom up, so the last thing I say is my number one.
That's well, I do have 3 that are my number. Okay, I can do it.
And I have 15, so if we do honorable mentions.
I've got it. You can do the honorable mentions. We'll have time.
At the end. Okay, good.
All right, cool. All right, Todd, give us your first 3.
All right. Well, I ranked these, so this is my number 10, and it's Jake to the Bone, the fusion instrumental on Kingdom to Desire. This blew me away the first time I heard it, and I feel like it's a great example of Toto actually being like, okay, we're going to show off how great players we are for the whole entire 7 or 8 minutes that the song takes. And, I don't think that it would have been a good idea for them to have always done that, but it was nice to have it done one time. And so that's my number 10.
Excellent.
My number 9, I'm a little blown away that this is so low on the list, but my number 9 is Pamela from 7th One. And everybody knows how much I like 7th One, but don't worry, it won't be the last time you see it. Pamela is great. Pamela I actually like better than Rosanna. I think Pamela is a great song. Lyrically, I love the song. I think it's a great vocal performance. I think it's a great sounding recording. And I've just always loved it. Should have been a monster hit and wasn't. Who knows why? A mystery for the ages.
Yep.
And
I think it's great.
Look what's next. Look what's next. Number 8, Home of the Brave.
Oh my God.
To the other side there, yeah. And when back in the day, if they hadn't have made so many, not necessarily great records, although I think a couple of them are great records that come after the 7th One, they definitely have some great songs that come after that. So if it were, let's see, when did this come out? 1988? If it were 1988, Home of the Brave probably would have topped the list. Well, there maybe would have been like number 2 or number 3, but I've always loved it. I think it's a great track. I like everything about it. I like that it's got different people singing on it. Mm-hmm. Most of my favorite Toto songs are the ones where different people sing. So awesome. Yeah, it's one of my faves.
Super. That was 3, right?
That was 3.
Gosh. Look, see, it's quick. Look at us. So fast I can't keep track. Eric, give us your top, I guess your 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Yeah, 10, 9, 10, 8, 10,
10, 9, 8.
9, 8. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with 2 that it's amazing. When I started going through, I probably changed my top 10, and I'm stunned that I do not have any songs off my favorite album by them.
Well,
we'll get to that.
There's one important album of mine for me that is not represented as well. So
yeah, crazy
happens.
But my number 10, written by David Paich and Jeff Porcaro, off the 82 album 4. I'm going with Africa. It's the number 1 hit in February of 83 on the Billboard. It's still popular to this day. The one thing I would say about Toto is, part of the charm for me about this band is they do so many different styles and they do them so well. And the flip side of that coin is for the average, I think, listener, they probably look at that as a little off-putting. It's like, are they a hard rock band? Are they a pop band? Are they soft rock? Do they do jazz? And it's just, and I get that. And Africa was so different for what they did up to these first 4 albums that it fits right into what they do. And I had to include this. I heard it 1,000 times. It's part of my childhood. It had to make the list. I go Africa, number 10. what more can I say?
You know what's great about Africa is that if you're like a vinyl guy, like a turntable guy, and because it's the last song, you can really check for inner groove distortion and sibilance, because when he says rising like an empress across the Serengeti,
yes, I got that on the vinyl.
All those S's come out clear. You're good.
Right.
There you go. A little bit of there you go. Use that for a test record, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Setting up that stylus. Yeah. Yeah, it does. It is a great sound. Didn't this win Grammys for like sound?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Production. Oh yeah. When I was listening to it today, trying to pick tracks, I was just going, my God, this record. Well, I'll get to it.
Yeah.
I don't want to jump the gun. All right. All right, Eric. That's
sorry.
Hey, no, you're good. Do two more.
So my number 9, I'm sure it's another one that's high off the list. Everybody's heard 1,000 times, off the great debut, Hold the Line. This is the written by David Page. It's the first single off their debut album. It's the one that put them on the radar, or on everybody's radar. It's a classic rock staple at this point. It's got the classic guitar riff by Steve Lukather, sing-along chorus. It's a vintage Toto rock song. I couldn't leave it off.
Right.
Try as my mate. So that's my number 9. And then my number 8, going back to the 4th album, written by Steve Lukather, I Won't Hold You Back. This went to number 10 in 1983 on the Billboard charts. This is one of those slow-moving ballads that's got a big chorus, which is actually helped by the background vocals by Timothy B. Schmidt from the Eagles. It's got the orchestral arrangement in there, which kind of gives the song another layer. And this also contains one of my favorite guitar solos of all time. Steve Lukather's, it's a perfect guitar solo. His tone on that it's reminiscent to me of Neil Sean's guitar solo on Journey's Who's Crying Now. Absolutely stellar. So yeah, and I think it's one of their best ballads. Couldn't leave it off. Love that song. I Won't Hold You Back. That's my number 8.
All right, cool. Excellent. All right. Wow, we're going to be all over the place. And I think I picked some things that no one else may be picking. Might be a little bit more, I don't know. I'm going to go with, I don't know if anybody picked anything off of this, but my number 10, I'm going to go with English Eyes off of Turn Back. Now, I know when we did the ranking, I know Todd's not a big fan of this record.
If I was going to pick a song from that album, it'd be that one.
Okay. And that's not even really the song that people mention as being one of the better songs. But when I listen to this, it's the 3rd track. For the most part, this album's pretty immemorable. There's nothing that really sticks out. But I think this song really sticks out. And it's got a great riff. Bobby Kimball kills it on this track. It's cut from the same cloth as Hold the Line. When I hear that, it's like, kind of harkens back to that. It's a totally different song, but I love the guitar on it. I love the way it sounds. I'm sold. And when I was originally listening to it, a lot of these songs all blended together, but this one just rose to the surface. On another day, I could probably rate it higher, but today it's my number 10. My number 9. Oh, this is Todd Evans. I think this was Todd Evans' favorite album. But the more I listen to it, the more I understand the way he feels. I'm going to go, my number 9 is going to be Mashenga.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good track.
Oh,
yes.
My God.
Yes.
Joseph Williams sounds great on this track. The production, if anything, this should have won something for production because it's really a tight, clear, clean. I'm going to use the word audiophile production. It sounds wonderful. This track, to some degree, almost sounds like, all right, you're going to have to bear with me, but it reminds me of a Sting song. What was the album? Not 10 Summoner's Tales. Oh, what was the album before that? Do you guys know? Your Sting album?
That would have been the second one, right? So that would have been
maybe it's after 10 Summoners.
Nothing Like the Sun?
Whatever, it's fine. We could sit here and look. What was that?
I could see the comparisons for a Sting song, though, Grant.
But it's very clear. And that snare drum on this track.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, God, that sounds like a Sting.
Are you thinking of Let Your Soul Be Your Pilot?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's from Mercury Falling.
Okay.
the most underrated Sting album.
Yeah, I like that record.
Yeah.
So it kind of has that 80s sound, but it's got a good 80s sound. Good drums, good production. This whole record sounds great. This is classic Toto. No, I know Bobby Kimball's not singing on it, but this is a classic Toto song. Catchy and memorable.
Yeah, one of several songs on that album where you could just listen to the drum track by itself.
Oh,
And maybe that's why it stood out so much.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it stood out. But
Jeff was on another level.
Yeah, this is so smooth it could be on Toto 4.
Yeah.
I think it would have fit right in.
Yep.
So I'm down. I think it's a great track. Okay, here we go. Here's another one. You guys are going to pick this, but man, there's something about this track that I love. And I think it's some great songwriting from Steve Porcaro. I'm going to go with something off of Toto 4. I'm going to go with It's a Feeling. 1982. There's something about this song.
That's my favorite Steve song.
Okay, but there's something about it. It's a combination. I love the way the piano and the rhythms are on this song. It's great songwriting from Steve. The only complaint I have about this song is that it only runs for 3 minutes and 10 seconds, and it's too short.
But it's perfectly sequenced. It's in exactly the right place on the album.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. But the thing is, I want more. Why couldn't it go another 2 minutes? Put another, like a Lukather solo, jam on it a little bit. I don't know. Come on.
And those synth hits at the beginning are, they sound so good.
I love it. Now, it might not be one of the best tracks on the record, but for me, when it always comes on, I always listen to it, and I never get tired of it. Call me crazy. Maybe. I don't know. But hey, that is what it is. It's good. All right. So that would be my number 8. All right. Todd, you're up.
Okay. Well, my number 7 comes from this.
Ooh.
And it is Spanish Sea. And Spanish Sea has a writing credit of Lukather Page, Porcaro, and Williams. And so it started out, it was from the isolation sessions, and it had Mike and Jeff on the track. And then so they finished it and added new stuff to it. Oh. And it's got all the Toto things I love. It's got the kind of wicked chord key changes, and it's got the cool bridge with the keyboard solo in it. It's just a beautiful song, and it's just, since Old As New came out, when was this? 2018?
2018.
That song is just kind of rising up slowly. And it made it to my top 10. I just think it's a great song.
I think it's great.
It is.
Speaking of great songs, Right Part of Me, another song that was meant for, I'm pretty sure it was meant for the follow-up to Toto 4, what Isolation would have been if there hadn't been a lineup change. Mm-hmm. And if you think about it, as much as I love Isolation, and I do love Isolation, and as much as I'm not the hugest Bobby Kimball fan, hearing Right Part of Me makes me a little sad for what the follow-up to 4 might have been like, because I think that song is just magical. I think it's the highlight of this, one of a few highlights of XX, but I just think it's just beautiful.
So I'm just curious real quick, Todd.
Yeah.
Not a big Bobby Kimball fan.
Yeah, I'm curious too.
I'm just curious.
I like Bobby Kimball. I think Bobby's image is a little bit cheesy. And so I've always kind of thought his presentation was a little bit, his shirt's a little too tight. And
well, it was the
there's
70s.
something about him that I feel like is not LA cool like the rest of the guys. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean, I don't mean for that to sound as harsh as it might sound. No. I think he's just great. I mean, when he was at his peak, his range was phenomenal, and especially on Toto 4 when he sings, it just cuts through. I mean, you think of the old commercial where Ella Fitzgerald's voice breaks the glass in the Memorex commercial. You think of him having the kind of voice that could break the glass. Yeah. But I just like Joseph Williams a little bit better. So I
don't have a problem. I just
words about him. But
I was just curious about that too. Yeah.
I'm not a huge Bobby Kimball fan, but of course I like him.
Yeah, I got it. All right, you're good.
But on Right Part of Me, he's just phenomenal. I just love that track. And speaking of good tracks, beautiful tracks, actually. My number 5 is I Will Remember. And I think that it might be the best engineered song of all time. It comes in with those floor toms. It goes boom, and you can feel it. And everything about this song, the way, the soulful way that Lukather sings it, the way that the drums sound, the way the piano is really percussion. Right before the chorus, David Page just goes dun. It's like two notes right in a row, like 2/8 notes. Just beautiful, just really well done. And again, maybe it gets lost in the middle of an album that is kind of a gritty, almost bluesy, rocky kind of an album. Maybe it gets lost in there, but it's so good. One of my favorite track twos of any album that I can think of. I Will Remember. It should have, again, I say this a lot when it comes to Toto, but should have been huge. They certainly didn't get worse at what they did.
Oh no, it just
I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Right. It just kind of morphed to some degree. Doesn't mean it's bad. There's not a bad Toto album in the catalog.
No.
Well,
check out our ranking of the Toto albums down
when
here.
we rank the albums, I put Turn Back last, but that's a 7.5.
Yeah.
And they just get better from there.
Yeah.
For me, anyway.
Well, when I listen to Turn Back again, it's like, well, is this really all that bad?
Oh,
yeah,
it's
but
not bad.
7.5 is not bad.
No.
I like that record a lot.
Well, there you go.
I love the songs on it. Yeah.
All right. So what's that? That was 3, Todd, right?
Yeah,
I
that was
can't
my
keep
number
track.
5. I've only got 4 left.
All right. Eric, you're up.
Okay, so I'm at 7 here. I am going to go back to the debut album for the second track, written by Bobby Kimball, I'll Supply the Love.
There you go.
I think this peaked at number 45 on the Billboard here. It's a good rocker to kick off the album. We just got done talking about him, but fantastic vocals, especially
But his shirts are too tight.
Right, and it's right that helped the
I'm not gonna
fashion
lay
sense.
down, am I?
But his fashion sense. Eric.
Yes. But yeah, and just the vocals. I mean, this is long before auto-tune and all that. I mean, these guys were, and that ending, that prog rock funky thing they had, instrumental they had going on just to show off their chops, Todd alluded to in the Jake to the Bone track. Yeah, I just love this one. Great catchy song off a heck of a debut album, as we all know. So that's my number 7.
Awesome.
How about a little deep cut here for number 6? This was originally on the Live at Montreux 1991 and featured on this On the Run. Written by David Page, Steve Lukather, and Fee Waybill from the Tubes. So yeah, it's because most of this is all like unreleased stuff. I know according to Luke, they tried to record it, but they never were really happy what came out in the studio. But this is just a great hard rock track with a blistering solo by Lukather on this. This kind of reminds me, guys, of the song of the extended rock version of Little River Band's Playing to Win.
Oh God, I can't. You are 100% right. We just played that. We just played that on the listening party last week, but we didn't do the long version. We did the
studio. Yeah.
But I had played the long version. I'd never heard the long version, and you were 100%. But played it. I went, well, no, let's choose the single version because it takes too much time.
Yes.
But yes, you are right. It does.
No, but it's a great track. Check out the video. There is the video of the song on YouTube for anybody watching. It's got Mike and Jeff Porcaro, Page, Lukather, and I think Lenny Castro's on percussion on that, and then they had the background singers. It just scorches. I love that song. So that's my number 6, and then shocking, I'm going back to the debut for number 5, written by David Page. Girl, Goodbye.
Boy, there's an awful lot from this debut popping up.
I wasn't expecting when I did this either, but it's another deep cut off the debut album. Kimball. So Todd, in my opinion, Bobby Kimball in his prime.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Was one of the best of the era, I think.
Yeah,
it's just that
absolutely.
time. I actually looked these guys up. They're when this record dropped, they were already seasoned session players. And I looked up their ages here. I wrote it down. Jeff Porcaro and David Page was 24. David Hungate, the original bass player, was 30. Kimball was 31. And Steve Porcaro and Steve Lukather were 21. And these guys have already played with Boz Scaggs, Steely Dan, and man, love this track.
Which means that Lukather, in his first sessions, was a teen.
It was a teenager.
Yeah.
Crazy when you think about it. Yeah. But this is a great song. Great keyboards. I just not going to make the list here. So Girl Goodbye, that's my number 5.
Excellent. All right, cool. Okay. Wow. God, you guys are on fire. And where's my notes? They disappeared. Oh, there they are. Okay. So my next one, my number 7. All right. Eric's already mentioned this, so I don't have to go into it too much, but I'll Supply the Love off Toto 1978. Another hit off this record. AOR classic as far as I'm concerned. When in the dictionary you say AOR, that's arena rock, maybe. This is more or less AOR.
Yeah.
Great harmonies, memorable and catchy. I must say, I don't think they were ever quite as memorable and catchy until they did Toto 4, because this record is just full of great hooks, great melodies. But it's the first record. These guys are on fire. So that's my number 7. My number 6. All right. Now, some people might think this track is overblown, or maybe it doesn't hold up as well in the modern day. But this song is very catchy. I thought when I did research, I thought that this would have been a bigger hit for them, because now it's probably considered a quote unquote yacht rock classic. The other thing is this, I swear to God, could be off a Boz Scaggs album. Now, the reason I say that is because, all the Toto guys all played all over those Boz Scaggs albums. They were all studio musicians. So when they did a song, I swear to God, it sounds like Boz Scaggs. You could wipe away the vocals and put Boz in here. But this has a female vocalist called Cheryl Lynn on it. Came out in 1978. We're talking, well, I'm picking up the wrong record. Georgie Porgy off the debut. I love it. Yeah, it's Georgie Porgy put. Yeah, it's kind of silly, but man, is it smooth.
That lyric is silly, but the piano
groove
that are under it are just wickedly cool.
Yeah.
So it's like you've got this juxtaposition of this silly lyric.
Yeah.
But you've got this, what's under it is just
this to me sounds like
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, this to me for 1978 on the pop chart sounds like a number 1 hit. It didn't fare all that well, but considering New Wave was out and the changing music scene, I could see it. But could that Toto get any smoother? This is smooth. I mean, I love it. Every time it comes on, I listen to it. And the only place I've ever heard it's on satellite radio, like on the yacht rock station. But I dig it. I like it. It is what it is. It made my list, damn it. So going with it. All right, my next one. And Todd's already mentioned it. His what didn't rate quite as high, but I'm rating it higher because I think it's absolutely brilliant. It often gets paired to Rosanna. I think this song is way better than Rosanna. It's in that wheelhouse, though. I get the comparisons, but I'm going to go with Pamela off the 7th one. Yeah. I think this is a number 1 hit. Would you consider this a power ballad? I'm just throwing it out.
No, I wouldn't.
Pop rock.
Pop rock.
Yeah.
Catchy. It's catchy. It's every bit as catchy as anything off 4. In fact, this album I think comes darn close to 4. Well, look, this is Todd's number 1 in his ranking. Right. So Todd's sitting there go
4 comes close to 7.
4 comes close to 7. No, this is a great record. Highly recommend it. I think this is a must-have if you're getting into Toto.
Oh yeah.
This is yet another good point to recommend our album ranking down in the links. So it wasn't that long ago, so check it out. And I think that's it. That's it. So we're going to throw it over to Todd. What's your final 4?
All right. Well, listening to y'all's picks, I'm really surprised. I honestly picked my honest picks for this, but they're skewed towards the later period. And You know, and I've got 5 honorable mentions. I've got an 11 through 15 that I'm going to talk about later that also don't include anything from the debut album. But I love the debut album. I love Georgie Porgy. I love all the songs.
You love it. I know.
So this was a real challenge for me. It hurts my heart to not mention some of those songs, but this could be an internet breaker because a lot of people who are watching the show may never have even heard this song. But from the Too Long album Mindfields, my number 4 is Last Love. And that is written by Lukather and Paich, not Lukather and Randy Goodrum, who was usually his writing partner for the Luke sung ballads. Last Love is the best, in my opinion, the best Steve Lukather vocal. It's the most soulful. It's a beautiful track. And I just never get tired of it. Most of my favorite Lukather sung ballads are the ones that were the least popular. I don't know why that is, but Last Love is just one of my favorite songs of all time.
That's a good one.
And it really props this album up for me, which and it needs propping up because
it does.
It's a little too long and there's a little too much going on. But they seem very focused on that track. So that is my number 4. My number 3, it surprises me that this is a couple of songs in my there are a couple songs in my top 4 that don't have a guitar solo and don't have a flashy bridge. And this is one of them, and it's Stop Loving You. And I picked it because it's such a good song.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a good song. It's got John Anderson on it, for crying out loud. And what he does on it is he's basically scatting. His contribution to it is so weird, but it's so distinctive. And again, just a super, just scorching drum part. Yeah. I mean, it's just another one of those songs that you could just listen to the drum track. Mm-hmm. And the song is just so good. Melodically, Stop Loving You is just so good. Yeah. And I just had to put it there. And it had to push out a couple of songs that have my favorite Toto thing, which is the flashy bridge with all the crazy solos in it. But that's not one of them, but I absolutely love it. My number 2... I thought was going to be my number 1. And I think I said on the album show that this was my favorite Toto song, but it dropped a notch. And that actually is another song with a really subtle bridge and I don't think any guitar solo at all. And that's Orphan from Toto 14. The lyrics are the sentiment is beautiful. It's very empathic without sounding too sappy. It's just, the song is just a piece of art. I just absolutely love it. And again, throw it in the list of songs that should have been huge. Yeah. But, things that are on Frontiers Records can only get so huge. But I want to, I hate to interrupt, but thank
God for Frontier Records because they put out and support these. Yeah. They take a risk. And these bands that might not have gotten a fair shake later in life or never got signed.
I mean, this whole album is great.
Right.
Yep.
But running out of time, Burn, Holy War, holy cow, all these songs are great. Yeah. Fortune is a great song. And look at the cover.
Yeah, it's cool.
That might be the best Toto album cover.
I'd say that
it's up there.
It's right up there.
Yep.
I just love that album. All right, my number 1. May not be a surprise to anybody who knows which Toto songs I like. It's These Chains from Seventh.
No.
Wow.
Really? That's your number? How cool.
There's a couple of reasons that I picked it. Okay, first off, it's got that thing we were talking about earlier where you can just listen. I could listen to the drum track on probably an endless loop. Just listen to that shuffle over and over again.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful, so well recorded, and every fill is just perfect. I mean, this is a really understated song. I'm going to give you that for me picking it as number 1. It's a pretty understated song, but it's so beautifully sung, and this is saying a lot, but it's Lukather's best guitar solo in Toto, and there's actually 2 of them. It's like 2 solos towards the end of the song back to back, and it's just I just don't have enough. I'm really outing myself as a Luke fan, I guess, but because it is a great solo. But yeah, I just think it's a beautiful song, and that was kind of an upset. I thought Orphan was going to be number 1, but I picked These Chains.
Really, is there a bad Steve Lukather solo?
No, there isn't.
I'm just throwing that out there.
I don't think so.
That's a real good one though by him.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's on fire.
Yep.
Well, think about it. The band's probably in a good spot. They're firing on all cylinders.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Great record. You can tell when they're really into it,
Yeah.
All right, that's awesome. All right, Eric, what's your next four?
Next four, gonna go with the Turn Back album.
Oh,
Grant's mentioned it. English Eyes.
love it.
Paige, Kimball, Jeff, and Steve Porcaro wrote this. This is a hidden gem. Grant, you said it right. I think this is the best song, although I think I Can Stand You Forever on this. But anyhow, this has got a great chorus, great riff by Luke.
Mhm.
There's that little break, instrumental break in the middle of the song, and then it launches back in, and Kimball just is fantastic on it. I love this tune. You know what? Also, I just mentioned about the Little River Band. It's kind of very reminiscent of Joe Lynn Turner Rainbow era. You listen if
Yeah, I see that.
like I'm not saying not like Spotlight Kid, but like maybe like I Surrender or those type of songs by
Mhm.
that Rainbow. But so yeah, English Eyes, love it. So that's my
Awesome.
number 4. My number 3. You guys, Grant, I don't know if both of you guys mentioned this. I Will Remember. Todd, yeah.
Todd mentioned it. Yep.
Yeah.
Written by Lukather and Stan Lynch, the original
Tom
drummer.
Petty.
Tom Petty and the
Yeah.
Heartbreakers. Yep. So this is, like Todd mentioned, an emotional, moving song about loss, love, good memories. I just love the melody. I saw these guys live in 2018 and did this song, and it was just spectacular. Lukather's soulful vocals really help drive. It's like you mentioned, Todd. It doesn't come across as sappy or hokey. I mean, there's a lot of heartfelt emotion that comes through that song. It's the highlight in the middle of the road album for me in their catalog. But I Will Remember. So that's my number 3, and my number 2. We were just talking about it.
There you go.
Orphan. There's a big misconception going around that there's no good songs being written in modern times. Well, here's one
right there.
from a band Long in the Tooth, and it's really well written. The positive message, great vocal by Steve Joseph Williams. If no one is familiar, anybody who's watching, if no one's familiar with this album or any of their later records, but this one, definitely check it out. Orphan definitely belongs. Yeah. It almost made my number 1. But my number 1, I got to agree with Steve Lukather. It's Rosanna.
Wow.
This to me encompasses everything that Toto's sound and approach to songwriting is all about. I mean, you got Porcaro's, as he called it, the Bernard Purdie halftime shuffle. I mean, just combine that with the vocals, the guitar work. It just all comes together on that one track. Everybody's heard it 100 times, 1,000 times. It's great. So there you go. Rosanna, my number 1.
That's one of those songs. Well, I didn't pick it because for some reason I never was a fan of Rosanna. I understand that people love it. It was a big single, but man, I couldn't. There were other tracks on that album that I thought were way better. Call me crazy. But,
we'll talk about this in a minute, but that is my number 11. That almost made my top 10. And I probably listen to Rosanna once a week.
Sure.
No joke. I probably play Toto 4 once a week just because it's such a great sounding album. And there's something in my brain that just tells my hands to get it and put it on. I listen to it all the time.
All right.
One of the greatest bridges ever, but when you say that about Toto, there are 10 songs that like stand in line for the greatest bridge. But
all right. Excellent, Eric. Excellent. All right. I'm going to go with my next 4, and I'm going to go with something off of Fahrenheit 1986. There it is right there. Did you guys even pick anything from Fahrenheit?
I didn't, but that doesn't mean I don't love it.
Right. Same.
Okay. Well, I think this is a great record. Is it commercial? Yeah, it's pretty damn commercial, but hey, that's all right. These guys have to pay bills, but it's good commercial. It's good, not just crappy synthetic well, I don't want to go into it. I'm going to choose I'll Be Over You. Yeah, it was a hit. One of the best ballads. And it's sung by Steve Lukather. And it's got Michael McDonald, for God's sakes.
Right. I always forget that.
I don't really consider this like a yacht rock song, though.
No.
It's not.
No.
It might be a little bit too late for that because I don't hear that on this.
No.
But come on. I never get tired of it. Yeah, I know it's a hit, but man, so good.
It's a great song.
It's a great
That's
song.
one of those songs where, I'm always tempted to say Toto's a more popular band than people think it is. And whenever you mention that song or that song gets played, people who just random casual fans are always talk about how much they love that song.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know.
The pictures of the guys on the back of the album are just always cracking me up.
Yeah.
Well, they're cool. It's anti-cool, but
Joseph Williams on there.
That's not even what he looks like.
No.
we don't even know who that really is.
No.
Right.
All right, my number 3, I'm going to go with, okay, yeah, of course. I've loved this song ever since it came out. It is infectious. The Weezer cover of it's good, too. Off of Toto 4, I'm going to have to go with Africa. I think it's I guess it's soft rock. Or pop. What do you want to call it? Pop rock? I guess it's pop. But it's got those world rhythms with it. It makes you feel like you're on going down to Africa. I swear to God. The video goes right along with it.
Yes.
But I like it. I like the rhythms. I like the way it sounds. The production on this record. Come on. It's absolutely killer.
Yeah.
And I think and what a way to end the record.
Yeah.
I remember when it came out, I thought it was brilliant. I didn't know it was Toto when it first came out.
And they didn't
it doesn't really sound quite like what you expect from Toto.
No. And they didn't think that song was going to do anything. They just
I
said,
thought
let's just fill it out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When Bobby Kimball comes in on the second part.
Yeah. Yeah. And the harmonies too.
Yep. Yeah.
Perfectly arranged, perfect production.
Yeah.
Perfect. It's a perfect song. All right, so there you go. Everybody knows it. I don't have to keep going.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised no one else mentioned this because this is yacht rock goodness, ladies and gentlemen. This is smooth. And I keep bringing Steve Lukather up because, let's say this, he's smooth vocalist. I just didn't care for the one album that we ranked where he did all the vocals on it. And we talk about it on the show, why he ended up doing all the vocals. We got it. But I don't know. I just couldn't get into that record. But that's okay. We all hear things differently. But I can get into him on Hydra. And I'm talking about the song 99. I love 99. I'm surprised that wasn't a bigger hit. It just went to like the lower half of the top 40. How could that be? It's catchy. It's played a lot more now probably than it was played then. Great groove, great harmonies. It's smooth. It's yachty. It's got that Steely Dan vibe to it. And holy crap, that guitar solo from Steve Lukather on it, I'm down.
The cover is so prog rock and it looks like something out
it looks like a
the
prog
Highlander
album.
movie.
Yeah.
But it does. It looks like a prog album.
Yes.
So I don't know. Maybe it's giving mixed.
And I think it is their prog album or
kind of
most proggy one. Yeah.
And the cool thing about 99 is that the structure of that song is so unique. The last couple of minutes of that song is so cool, the way it just keeps going and changes. And it's got a bass solo in it.
Yeah,
and
Hungate.
It cuts down to a perfectly good 3-minute radio song, but extended. It just seems the version of it on the album just seems like that's a very natural way to end it.
Well said. There, I don't have to go any further. So that's my number 2. My number 1. This is where it all began for me when I was a kid, and I talked about this in the ranking show. I'm going to have to go with Hold the Line. This is one of the first songs when I took guitar lessons to learn. And first single, huge hit. This is AOR. This is all-time AOR great song, I think, too. But, it does have a swing groove to it. I think it's kind of groovy. I love it. I still love it. When I think Toto, Hold the Line always comes to mind.
Yeah.
Now, is it their best song? Well, probably not. But a lot of this stuff has to go back the way you feel about things when you were growing up. You have a connection to stuff. And when I hear this, I hear this whole record. It just takes me right back, you know?
Yeah.
So,
And one of the cool things about that song is that people, I think of it as a heavy song because of the riff.
Yeah.
the riff's kind of heavy, but it's not.
But it's a shuffle.
Yes.
So it's like both things.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
swings and it rocks. And you know, there wasn't that much of that until that
No.
came around.
I do want to say, though, I think that this song had, because I remember when it came out, because everybody would listen to that guitar riff and we would go, wow. Lukather came up. I mean, didn't Bobby Kimball write this? Who wrote Hold the Line?
Page.
Page. Okay. Well, he's brilliant, obviously.
Yeah.
But Lukather must have come up with the guitar. I don't know how they arranged it but that guitar part, I'm going to give Steve Lukather some props. Is one of the best riffs of the late 70s. Memorable.
Yeah.
Sounds great. I mean, that obviously sounds like
guitar solo. Yeah.
that doesn't sound like something that was written on piano. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Maybe the rest of it is, but he must have came up with that riff for the intro. I don't know. I think it's brilliant.
Everybody knows it so well. It's like Don't Stop Believing and, you know, pick any stick song.
Sure.
It's like
Right.
the solo is so memorable that I think everybody that listens to pop music knows it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Could tell you how it goes.
Yeah. But I'm pretty secure with my top three. I didn't pick anything really later because there was so much in the beginning that I like. So it is what it is. Until you put one of these rankings together, you never really know where things are going to fit. That's the fun of doing them.
Yes.
So there you go. So Todd, you got more honorable mentions?
Yeah, I have an 11 through 15. I'll just go through really quick. Rosanna is my number 11 for reasons I've already talked about. My number 12 is Dying on My Feet.
Great song.
And man, the last minute of that song is just on fire. I mean, it's just with that horn arrangement, and it's got. I'm pretty sure it has James Pankow on the trombone in the mix in there, and it's just great. My number 13 is Devil's Tower from Old Is New. I can't get enough of that song. I love the way that song sounds. Yep. I'm surprised I didn't put anything from Isolation, but I put as number 14 Carmen. I think Carmen is underrated. Mm-hmm. Nobody ever talks about it. It just chugs along in this really. It has a lot of momentum and it just goes. And that's one of the things I really love about it. And then my 15 is Georgie Porgy. For reasons I've already mentioned.
Exactly. So, Eric, you got any honorables?
Oh yeah, this whole album.
It killed me not
the whole
Change
record.
of Heart didn't make it.
I could have picked the title track, Carmen. I love Change of Heart. Yes, Lions. Yes, the whole
thing.
But I also like off this one. I love how many times off this one. This is Toto doing like a ZZ Top because they kind of let Lukather just loose with his vocals and guitar on this thing.
Well,
I know Todd is not your, and I get it.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say one of the things about this album is that people think of it as like a kind of a bluesy, kind of a dreamy rock album, but it's got two ballads on it.
It does. Two Hearts and
it's got a lot of variety on it.
Yeah. Jake the Bone, like you mentioned. Yeah. But who else? What else did I pick? I did pick Meshuggah.
That
I love that. I love it.
Always like Caught in the Balance off this.
Oh yeah, that's good
record.
too.
And then I know you guys mentioned Stop Loving You. Hard to leave off. I love Home of the Brave. This one's also got is this the one that's got Stranger in This Town? Or is that
Stranger in Town is on
Fahrenheit?
No, that's on Isolation, but you already said the whole
It
album,
is. So. Sorry. Jeez, I should have known that. Seven Seas.
Yeah.
You mentioned that, Todd. And then the last one I did last two. The song Hydra.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little all over the place, but I just love the chorus and just the way it just takes you just like different directions. And Grant mentioned I'll Be Over You.
Yeah.
I love that song.
Yeah.
And that's another one back in the day. I don't think when that came out, I don't think I realized that was Toto, which is weird.
I'll Be Over You.
Mm-hmm. Well, the younger me, I guess I didn't really think about it.
Right.
You're probably not alone in that, though. There's probably a lot of people that don't know that that's who that is.
Yeah. But their catalog is so vast and the styles change. I mean, it sounds like, once you kind of, it depends how big of a fan you were. You know, maybe not in 86, 85, I wasn't that big into them as much. And, you know, you have to build up your ear to really pick out. There are traits in Toto that you just pick up. So it screams 80s, but man, the good part of the 80s.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's when Michael McDonald, as you mentioned, he was on speed dial back with everybody's.
Heck, he was on speed dial since like 78,
Yes.
77.
Yes.
People bringing him into stuff.
Yep.
But it's a great song. I think it deserved to be mentioned. That's a good record, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Very
remember
great
when that came out. It always surprises me a little bit that it did as well as it did, because when it was out, I had like a chip on my shoulder. I was just like, nobody's paying attention to this. They're not paying attention to this as much as they should be. These songs are not as big as they should be. And it actually did pretty well. But
Yeah.
And as I'm looking at this, could This Be Love is a really good one till the end. It's a little, it's more, it's a weird follow-up from Isolation, because this went, or Seventh One, because this was kind of more like soft rock, I would think. But there's some good stuff on here.
But then there's Can't Stand It Any Longer, which is scorching.
Yes. Yep.
All right. Cool. All right. I guess we did it, ladies and gentlemen. That's our top 10 Toto tracks. I want to thank these gentlemen, Todd Evans and Eric Hansen, tonight. It's always fun to have these gentlemen on and talk music, but there you go. Be sure to check out our ranking video down below of the albums. So we got some more content on Toto here. So other than that, what's next? I don't know, but I do know I'm leaving for North Carolina tomorrow, and I'll be back on Sunday. So won't be much happening, but I'm going to try to get this episode up. I got to pack, but maybe I can get this up tonight so we can have this out there. Well, this is such a good show. We need to get it out there. All right,
thanks
gentlemen.
for the opportunity to do this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Grant. I've been wanting to talk about these guys for a while. Yeah.
It's fun. Gosh, hopefully.
Yes.
And, all of our goal here is just to hopefully turn you on to stuff.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard any Toto and you like what you've heard here tonight, go and check something out. Support these bands, support these artists. The music industry is not quite what it used to be. So be sure to check out these bands and artists. All right, everybody. Gentlemen, we will see you. And what's next? God, well, this. All right. We'll see everybody. Good night.